and welcome to this week's video. This week I'll be custom painting some canvas shoes. For this project you'll need some canvas shoes, some acrylic paint, some paint brushes, a pigmented fine liner, make sure it's a non-fade one, and I also used a pigment gel pen as well, which is also classed as a non-fade one. This is stuff that is light fast, so when you are putting it in the light then you're not having the shoes damaged in any way, shape or form. I also end up using this spray that you put over the top. I'll leave links to all the equipment that I use down below. So why did I decide to paint some canvas shoes? It's actually quite a funny story. I've always wanted to do them. As a kid I really loved like these really cool out there shoes, and for the longest time I did have a pair of hand painted canvas shoes which I fell in love with, and unfortunately they did fall apart at one point, and I always wanted to replace them with something of my own. Although my skills with acrylic are not that great. So once I felt a little bit more confident, I just really wanted to do this, and since it's the month of me trying out new things, I thought, hey, why not? It seems like a hell of a lot of fun. So this is a project that I highly recommend anyone doing. It's a bit of fun. You can have a lot of different ways of trying out how the markers work and how acrylics work, and you learn a lot of things from it. The things that I learned from it is Sharpies aren't the way to go, especially if you want to colour an entire canvas of these shoes. They're fun to pop down like a base layer and then build acrylics up on top, so then you end up using that much paint and you can have an idea of what colours are going to go where. But the second you're going to use your protective spray on top, those colours are going to run, unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame, but hey, in learning curves when it comes to anything, you find out what works and what doesn't work. So I decided to make both of my shoes kind of different. I wanted one to represent prickles and plant witch, and the other one to represent mushroom hunters, and in the future I will probably get another pair and have one to represent a girl and a dragon, and also another pair to represent lavender. I think that would be really fun to do, and on top of that it would have lots of different shoes that I can wear at conventions and be like, hey, look at my shoes. I really just wanted something a little bit different that for my channel that I haven't done before, and this entire month I'm going to be doing things that, hey, I've never done before, because I really want to try them out. I think the hardest part for this was trying to work out what was going to go where. I did do some sketches and some planning beforehand to have a rough idea of what concept I was working with, but to be honest, I just kind of winged it. I think the thing is with these projects, we kind of get nervous about doing them, about, hey, what if we do everything wrong? And sometimes it's good just to dive into the deep and have a look at what we're doing and learn from your mistakes. So after I'd put down the acrylic, I built up my line work on top with Sharpies, especially in this area because I've just thought that coloured lines would look so much nicer. It really did help with the effects that I was going for and really made the shoes seem really nice. One of the major issues I did keep coming across was trying to cover the canvas evenly and fairly. I think if I'd primed the canvas first of all, because these are canvas shoes, you can treat them like a canvas board or anything like that. It is a issue with trying to cover it sometimes that the canvas isn't smooth enough. So I reckon if I'd primed the canvas shoe beforehand, putting a little bit of gesso down, it would have been easier to paint on and easier to build up my layers. I think what I really liked was being able, after I put the Sharpie down and creating this sort of like mishmash of a background, I was able to build up the acrylic on top and give the outside of this texture. This really helped to sell like the gardeny feel that I was going for, particularly with this shoe, and it helped that it wasn't the cleanest, it was a little bit messy, and I think that really helped to sell this part of the shoe. Yet again, if anyone does a project like these, feel free to tag me, and if you had a pair of canvas shoes, let me know in the comment section down below. What would you draw in them? What would you do? I see a lot of like fandom shoes and I think they are really, really cool, and maybe in the future I'd like to do a pair of those. I don't know, I'm not going to become a shoe painting artist. This was just something fun and something different than what I normally do. So the other shoe is where I really end up using the pigment marker quite a bit, whereas the other piece, it really worked that the lines were coloured and only prickles kind of stood out with the black liners. With these ones, because of the way that the characters are and because it's surrounded by mushrooms, I felt like it was really important to have those black lines to push them out. Yet again, I'm not the greatest with acrylics, I am still learning, and since as I've reiterated several times, this is the month of me trying out things that I've always wanted to do. I decided, why not? I'm just gonna do what I want to do and see if it works. Parts of this, as I say, is a learning curve, and whenever you are drawing something, whenever you are trying something different that you wouldn't normally do, you are going to learn from it. Now, these aren't the greatest acrylics known to mankind. I got these from the works. They were, I think it was £8 for a pack of 24. But like I said, I've not had much experience with acrylics, so I'm not going to spend a ton of money on acrylics if I've never really used them before. What I find with acrylics that is so different from watercolours is that for me they blend really, really nicely, but it's trying to work out what blending technique you are going for. I also find that acrylics dry really quickly, which is perfect for me because having a cat who likes to pop her head onto your crafting table a lot for fusses, or a cat who likes to knock paint around when you are trying to draw, it's kind of one of those, you need these paints to dry very quickly. That's one of the main reasons why I haven't used oils, and the other one is I really don't get on with oil painting, but maybe I might try it. I don't know. This is kind of like a Christmas present to myself, having a whole month of just trying crafty things that I've always wanted to do and I've always wanted to try out, because this is the thing, I love drawing and illustrating so much, but sometimes you need to do something a little bit out of the norm, and this was me trying something a little bit out of the norm that I wouldn't normally do. I think the thing that came to this that I really didn't like was that I kept on wanting to use something that I was comfortable with. The Sharpies were fun and all that, but unfortunately you can only do so much with them. It's kind of frustrating that I wanted the colours to turn out a certain way, but they were blending just a bit too much. So that's where the acrylics came in, and I was able to build up my layers and able to build up what I wanted through that. But yet again, I'm not the most experienced when it comes to acrylics, so I was finding like certain areas I was struggling with. That's why I ended up using my fine liner, which is a unipin fine liner. It's the brush one, which I've been using a lot lately because I really enjoy the brush tip on it. Because I'm not that comfortable with acrylics yet, that I'm not able to get the smooth lines that everyone desires. It requires, I think, a little bit too much patience for me, and I don't have that much patience when it comes to acrylics. Pretty much for example, when I started this project, I was really nervous that it was going to turn out absolutely horrible, because nothing seemed to be going the way I wanted it to. But I think after me really sticking myself into it and really trying out and pushing myself out of my comfort zone with paints that I've never really used that much before, I found myself really enjoying it. I am going to be using acrylic paints a little bit more, mainly for like craft style projects, simply because I feel like they hold a little bit better. I'd like to try out polymer clay at some point because I think that looks like a lot of fun. But you know, this is all a learning curve. You don't know if something doesn't work until you try it, and until you try something, you never know. I think it's always going to be a little bit fun, and that's the whole point with art and crafting. It's pushing ourselves, having fun, and of course just being creative. I think it's a really good way of outlet, and I think it's a really fun way to try something a little bit different, and maybe you should challenge yourself and have fun with it. So So this is the stuff I'm using. It's called Crep Protect. So after spraying on top, as you can see at the top, where the Sharpie was, where it was left uncovered, it just spread like crazy. But I think it looks cool. I think it adds a really nice effect onto them. I definitely will know what not to do in the future. As you can see, all the little army of mushrooms and the army of flowers, I'm really happy with that. So that is now protected and water will not go on them, which I think is brilliant. It may need another coat, but this is what they look like on. I am so happy with these. I definitely am going to be wearing these for conventions and for future events because I think they are so much fun. I kind of wish that I was able to cover the whole canvas shoe, but I was too nervous to cover the whole canvas shoe. So I think next time I try these, I definitely want to see if I can cover the whole shoe and what kind of theme I can go for. This was kind of like a test project to see if I could do it, and I'm really happy with the way they came out. What do you guys think? Would you guys create your own canvas shoes? As I said earlier, let me know what you guys would do with them, and what do you think of these? Do you think there is areas that I could improve? Because I definitely know there's areas that I could improve. And what do you... I imagine a shoe line with these, that'd be so cool. But no, that's just me getting ahead of myself. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and my little journey into something a little bit different. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Maybe subscribe if you're new to this channel and wish to see more content. But as always, folks, stay creative.